You're listening to Alpha Nation, a podcast hosted by some of Australia's leading coaches at Alpha Strength and Physique, helping you level up in your fitness journey.
Can we look at the camera when we do our intro? No, you start.
Alrighty, welcome back everyone
Can we
to...
do that again? Because I was being a dickhead.
As always. Welcome back everyone to Alpha Nation, the official podcast of Alpha Strength and Physique. I'm your host, Coach Haydn Thompson, joined with Coach Lizzy B, as always. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about recovery. So, Liz is going to lead us off with this one.
Yeah, I guess we wanted to talk a little bit about recovery today because it's something that we see a lot of people not doing. So I suppose recovery is key to success. There's no real other way to put it, is there? If you're not recovering, then you're going to hit walls with your training.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're not recovering, you're building up too much fatigue. As fatigue builds, and we don't have any time to really drop it, there's only one way to go from there. You're going to overtrain, you're going to feel like shit, your training's going to suffer in the long term, which is super important, or it's why it's super important for us to implement recovery, strategies into our programming.
It's also important to minimise the risk of injury and sickness and...
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we actually touched on it in the staff meeting. If you are not sleeping, then your happiness is going to kind of fall, as well as your recovery, as well as your gains, I suppose.
Yeah, well, if we're not sleeping, it's a very catabolic state, or a very, breakdown state for our body. All the cell signaling and everything with obviously the catabolic hormones like cortisol, all of that elevated. Pretty much increases your water retention, limits, your adaptive ability to your training, which is not what we want at all. We want to have the best adaptations to whatever stimulus we're giving our muscles, which is the whole reason why we're training.
Exactly, that's the thing. I think we forget about, we get so focused on a goal and we think I've got to train, 5 days a week and I've got to increase the weight, and people get so focused on their strength goals that they forget, or their aesthetic goals, that they forget that recovery is just as important. Recovery
is where you make the gains, really.
Yeah, legit.
You go in the gym, you beat yourself, you're not there just to beat yourself up, but you're beating yourself up in the gym to allow for that adaptation and that recovery when you're not there.
Yeah. So maybe talk us through the science of that, because you are the resident science kid of Alpha.
Somewhat. So pretty much we've only got a certain amount of, resources that we use for adaptation and recovery. If we dip our fingers too much into recovery, there's only so much adaptation we can make with the leftover resources, which is what you typically see with our SRA curves, which is our stimulus recovery adaptation curves. Because you can now see us, because we're recording, pretty much the SRA curve, you start off at a base level of fitness. As soon as you introduce a stimulus, that fitness goes down a bit because you're not able to perform as well until you're recovered. That comes up, but then it comes up just a little bit higher than that initial fitness. So your recovery takes you up to that initial fitness, and then you get that little bit of adaptation on top.
Yeah.
If you're not recovering enough, you start to recover up here, but then you don't get to fully recovered, or you're not able to perform as well, then you hit the same muscle group again, you're just going into a deeper dip. And if you keep doing that, you're really not seeing any gains at all, because you're not even recovering from what you're, putting yourself through. You're not even recovering from your training or from the stimulus.
And if you guys are listening to this on the podcast and you want to know what Haydn was just talking about visually, head to our YouTube channel, Alpha Strength and Physique.
Yep, and we'll find a way to probably put a graph in the description.
Yes.
If that works, if we can.
Haydn's looking at me because he knows that that's something I'm going to have to figure out how to do.
Yep, that's Liz's job, not mine. I can talk all I want about it.
Do you know one thing I've actually been playing with my training at the moment is training at 11:30 and having waking up, doing some work, because I find previously I was training at 6:30 in the morning, and that was my way of switching on my brain for the day. But I wasn't really hitting PBs. I felt a bit stagnant. So I thought, I'm going to get up, do some work, have a good meal, and then go to the gym like an hour after. And I, in the last 2 weeks, have just been smashing goals.
That could have a bit more to do with, I guess, your preparation for activity anyway.
Absolutely. But I feel like that's part
is also important.
Yeah.
It is, like, it's just setting yourself up for a good workout. And preparing yourself. So, and that you can train at different times of the day for different people. Everyone's going to like a different time.
For me, I feel like it's falling into recovery in the essence of, I feel like a good session starts the night before. So I go to bed, I try and get 8 hours sleep, which is recovery. Setting myself up for the next day, and then eating before a workout is going to fuel my workout, and it's also going to help my recovery the moment that I finish my workout.
Because you've already got those resources in your body.
That also